Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Elev8 Project Podcast. My name is Ryan, and this is episode number 4. So we're going to be talking about building systems. So if you're starting a YouTube channel and you're on this journey, I am someone that has started a YouTube channel, got to 1,000 subscribers, actually had put my YouTube channel on the shelf for a little bit, and now I'm revitalizing my YouTube channel and just sharing in these episodes in these series episodes. This is season number 2 on different things that I'm doing to ensure that I stay successful and be successful as I look at YouTube for long-term growth. So if you're interested, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're watching from YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to stay tuned. So some systems. Having systems in place really makes it essential for long-term growth for a lot of different reasons. One, as a creator doing this day in and day out, and you are doing this with a full-time job, or you also have other different entrepreneurship businesses that you're running all at the same time, it's difficult to stay consistent, especially when it comes to research, shooting the video, editing the video, making sure that all the tags are in and it's uploaded correctly with titles and thumbnails, etc. So I want to break down my workload or my workflow for every video, from the idea to upload, and that all includes filming, editing, creating the thumbnail, SEO research, scheduling, and promoting the video. So benefits of doing this is ensuring that everything stays the same and that you're organizing your time correctly to get all these things done. So I obviously, like I said earlier, I did have my YouTube channel, Elev8 Project, going really, really well, consistent, and I did have systems in place. And then it came to a point where I had to prioritize either the 9 to 5, the YouTube channel, or my entrepreneurship in creating a media company or videography business. And I ended up prioritizing the other two and putting YouTube on the shelf. Now, things that I'm doing differently are a few things. One is using different tools like Notion. Notion is my tool of choice, which helps me organize my ideas, my thoughts, my research planning, and the status of where my YouTube videos are at through Notion. I use Apple Calendar as well to create schedules and appointments. So I know, hey, this is the day or this is the time that I need to set aside to do certain things. And when it comes to uploading the video, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but ensuring that every video comes out consistently with all the relevant links, etc., hashtags, and also systems in place when editing. So let's start with Notion. Notion has been something that I've used for a long time now. I want to say since 2019. I've used Trello, I've used Monday.com. I've used a lot of different project management tools to stay organized. And I found Notion to be something that is, one, it's universal. You can have it on your iPad, your computer, and also your mobile device. So I have Notion on my iPhone, on my iPad, and also on my computer. So I can always go to it and whenever I need to. Now, how I have Notion set up is fairly simple. I have my homepage, I have my to-do list, but then I've created this block for YouTube videos. So if I go in this idea list right now, I have Insta360 Go Ultra review, which I've completed. I have camera gear and accessories. So one is a monitor mount, which I've completed. Then I have lighting, FX30, long-term review. Is it worth having in 2025? So all these ideas I have as a list under kind of these different pillars. And from there, I'll take one of those ideas, and then I have another section for YouTube videos. So here I have this kind of broken up in the video number, the idea, I put it into the title. It's not the final title of the video. Niche, so is it productivity? Is it YouTube gear? Is it gear reviews? YouTube monetization, YouTube mindset. So I have all these different categories that I have in the niche department for that particular video. And then I just choose it. And then the status. So the status is something important to me because I may have all these different ideas, and what ends up being published first is going to be kind of the deciding factor on these different statuses. So one is research and planning. So that's the research and planning stage. Just let's say if it's a gear review. So I have the Insta360 Go Ultra that I completed. I'll kind of research it, kind of take a look at all the specs. What have I done? And then I'll go through scripting. So I'll go through the scripting stage, intro, the content, and then the conclusion or the ending of the video. And then I'll have filming. Like, am I in that filming stage? Especially with something that's a review where you want to get a bunch of content. For the Insta360 Go Ultra, I wanted to ensure that I filmed a lot of content as an action cam. So while I was cycling, and then I took a trip to Las Vegas. So I wanted to make sure that I was filming different aspects where I felt the Insta360 Go Ultra would be a great camera video companion with family and just as an overall trip. And then once the filming is done is the editing. And then once editing is done is being published. So for instance, what I have here right now, I have it in the research and planning stage for this particular video that I'm working on. So there's the Insta360 Go Ultra review, which is already published, but I also am working on an Insta360 X5 360 degree camera that I have here as well. So that's just under the research and planning stage. And then if there's any sponsors for the videos. So when I was consistently doing videos, I did start getting emails for sponsorships and doing specific reviews for certain brands. And now that I'm revitalizing the channel, I don't have any sponsors right now, but there's something there that I have that I can put for sponsorship and making sure that I'm hitting all my obligations. And then I have something here, which is the publish date. So the publish date for the Go Ultra, for instance, is October 23rd. So that's when I launched it. So it's in there as well, and it's there for my records. And then I have a URL link, and then just any affiliate links that I may have there. So for specifically for the Go Ultra is just Amazon affiliate links, thumbnail that I ended up choosing. So I have that in place. So for my YouTube videos, for long-term success, I have all the history. I can see what worked, what didn't work, and just kind of a breakdown of all the videos to ensure that I can stay consistent. Now, currently, my goal is every single week is to release a podcast video and also a main video for the channel. So either on content creation or gear reviews, etc. And also the third, which is a live stream, which is something really new for me, literally just started doing in October. So really still working and learning how that is, but it's also exciting at the same time because it's completely live. And so to keep that, you need to stay organized. So the other organization systems that I have is in my calendar. Now, again, this is great if you are solely just doing YouTube, or if you do have a 9 to 5, depending on the flexibility, when your start time is during your job. And also if you're doing other things like sports, or if you have kids, extracurriculars, and you want to make sure that you are creating time. So what I typically do in my calendar, especially specifically Apple Calendar, I created a category for YouTube, and I'll do things that really works for me, which is blocking. So I'll block 2 hours or an hour out of the day to do certain tasks. So if you kind of think about the research and planning stage, I'll put in my block, let's say an hour or two for just research and planning for the Insta360 Go Ultra. And then for scripting, I'll plan something out where I see in my calendar which is available. And then of course, filming. Filming usually is early in the morning or late in the evening, or Saturday or Sunday or Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday are going to be the most flexible days where I can film. And so live stream, I'll do Saturday morning. I'll do a podcast video, let's say on Sunday or Monday, and I'll film my main video either on Sunday or Monday as well. And then editing is usually during the week. Live stream, what I love about live stream is once you're done the stream, you're done. You're good. Don't have to worry about editing. What's done is done. It's live. It's genuine. It's authentic. It's whatever happens, happens. And I love that. I find sometimes when I'm video editing, it's a perfection thing, and you keep editing and editing. So I try to make sure that I only give myself a certain amount of time to edit. So you're going to find maybe in my newer videos, they may not be as polished as my older videos. However, I want to ensure that I'm hitting my main points. And then of course, once it's published, the post. So I don't typically do anything to promote my new videos. I do have an Instagram account for the Elev8 Project. Nothing that I've really used to promote it. There are two things that I'm going to be working on, which I've done in the past, is Pinterest and using posts on YouTube. So that's pretty much the only thing that I'll do to promote my new videos, is using the post feature in the YouTube Studio app. So for project management and to organize myself, really is Notion and the calendar app, and I just stay committed to it. It's in my calendar. It gives me an alert and I'm good to go. Now, to be clear, want to put this disclaimer out there. This is what I do. This is what works for me. And what works for me may not work for you, but it is some ideas that you may think about to create systems for yourself. For instance, if it's not Notion, maybe some sort of other project management tool or software. Trello, I've used that in the past. Again, Monday.com, I've used in the past, but Notion, absolutely use it. Love it. Free version works really well for me. And the calendar app, you may not have Apple Calendar, but you use Google Calendar or another calendar that you like to use, something that can alert you and really set time aside. Okay, moving on to editing suite. So I use Final Cut Pro. I've been using it for a while. I shoot in log most of the time, unless I'm shooting from let's say my iPhone or a different camera like the Insta360 Go Ultra that doesn't have a log function, or the Insta360 X5, again, doesn't have a log function. So I do have LUTs that I have in Final Cut Pro. I do have a preset or pre-created intro and outro that I do need to update. By the way, I realized when I was editing some videos, I've been looking at changing my logo and those type of things. So once I update those, however, it's still fine. I'm using that, but it just makes it really simple. So I don't have to redo the intro every single time or redo the outro every single time. I have a folder of assets. And also in there is my intro music, which I don't really have an intro music anymore. I try now in the beginning of the video to go straight to the content, and then I will have an outro music that I have also kind of preset in Final Cut Pro. And so I really have a flow of how I edit my videos in the sense of where do I house the content. So I actually work from an external hard drive. I use 2 hard drives. I use a SSD T7, Samsung T7, 4 terabyte, and a 2 terabyte SSD that I plug into my Mac Studio, and I edit off those drives. I will create backups, so there's a backup. I won't actually delete the footage from the SD cards from the cameras. So yes, I do have a network attached storage that I do have as well to back up all my footage. However, once the videos have been edited, I'll make sure to clear my SD cards so I can have that available space for newer videos and newer shootings on my cameras. So I use a lot of the same transitions. I use a lot of the same fonts, etc., just to make it nice and easy through the process. And it's kind of the flow of the channel, so it stays a little consistent for the viewers. The other thing that I do for editing is thumbnails. Thumbnails, I use a lot of different apps if I want to be a little bit more creative. But what's been working really well for me lately is Canva. So I do have a Canva premium account. And so I use a combination of my own ideas and AI. Mostly is a lot of my ideas, and I'll grab like a template. And sometimes what I'll do as well, just for some consistency and just not consistency, but creativity, I will actually use my iPad to just add some freehand work, either in some design or make different images pop, or even just handwritten or with arrows. I use Procreate. So I use Procreate on my iPad. It's a little bit soothing depending if I'm doing 1 or 2 thumbnails a week. And it really is just me drawing and choosing different colors, just freehand, and just make it a little bit unique. Because I'm using a template in Canva, I do want to make it stand out or be different. So that's typically what I'll do when it comes to titles. So when I'm thinking of an idea, and this doesn't go to Final Cut Pro, so let's just go back to just summarize. For the editing suite, I just use Final Cut Pro. It's what I use. It's something that I've been using since, I want to say 2019, 2018. I do, and also because I use a Mac. I'm using the Mac Studio. I don't have any experience in Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve a little bit, not too much, more so for color grading. But Final Cut Pro is pretty much what I use. And when it comes to editing suites, it's just I have preset or pre-recorded, just really cut and paste is my intro and my outro. A lot of my transitions and all those are all the same. I have it like in this folder with assets. And going back to YouTube videos, I would say more in the research planning stage is the title and the thumbnail. I kind of try to think about the title and the thumbnail first before I kind of start scripting or filming the video. So for the idea, the Insta360 Go Ultra, I was thinking about titles and what I was specifically using it for, which was for cycling as an action cam and for traveling. It's something that I really wanted to use it for, and I was just actually going on a trip to Las Vegas, so this was a great opportunity. So I actually will use help from AI to come up with a title. I'll use a combination of ChatGPT and Perplexity Pro. Again, I just kind of take a look and what kind of makes sense to me or still has my own voice to it. However, I do use it to make it easier to have a compelling title, SEO friendly, and that is clickable. Even though you make the best content, maybe it's the best Insta360 Go Ultra review or video, but if no one's clicking on it, no one's going to be able to get the value and learn or get everything from the video that you created. So I'm not very good at SEO, so that's one thing that I'm utilizing AI for. So again, Perplexity Pro and ChatGPT, the free version. I'll use a combination of both just to see what options come out, and then I choose what I like. And then for thumbnail, I'll use Canva. That's kind of my main software that I use for thumbnails. And then I'll if I want to be a little bit more creative, after I export from Canva, I'll go into my iPad and use Procreate, and I'll be a little bit more creative freehand using the Apple Pencil and using different designs and see how that looks. And what I'm trying to do in this revitalization of the YouTube channel, which I haven't done before, is A/B testing. So having two versions of the thumbnail and running them and have YouTube kind of let me know which one is clickable or which is more attractive or what more people click to, and then use that as the main thumbnail. Okay, so that's my system. Hopefully you're getting value so far in this podcast, and if so, you know what to do. And scheduling tools, I'll typically just use the YouTube Studio. So I'll upload the video, I'll get the title in there and the descriptions, review any links, make sure that is well, and then I'll just schedule it. So typically I will schedule the YouTube video podcast video on a Tuesday, and then I will have my actual video for the week be posted on Thursday, and then my live video on Saturday. Now, depending on how many videos I'm able to work on that week, I may release a video on a Monday. And again, this is more so just to spread out the videos, just so they have enough for YouTube to kind of really have a good idea the content that my channel is creating, and making sure that YouTube finds the right audience and pulls those videos in front of the right people. So YouTube Studio is essentially what I'll use for scheduling. File organization is once I have everything backed up, everything has been finalized, and I've done the editing, I've got the thumbnail, I'll take the raw footage and the final video and move it to my NAS. So that's my network attached storage. So that's where I archive all my footage for YouTube, also for my video work for other projects on my NAS. And typically I won't keep the editing file or the file that Final Cut Pro creates. It's more just the raw footage and the music or anything that I've used to create the YouTube video and the final video, and I'll archive that into my NAS. So yeah, that is kind of my systems that I have in place. Fairly simple. I try not to complicate it because I find if I make it too complicated, it will be more difficult for me to stay consistent. So when I've taken a look at the last 3 weeks, I've been able to release every single week a video podcast, which is this podcast that you're listening or watching to right now. Been able to release a video every single week. and do a live stream every single week. I think the only change that I'm going to do, and this has nothing to do with organization, is just having some spontaneous live streams. I think there's something to say about live streams and having that idea in your mind and just releasing it, I think is great. I don't know what people will respond to. So if you have any ideas, please leave some comments if you're watching on YouTube, or add some comments on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would be amazing. That would really help me out. And yeah, that is kind of the systems I have in place. When it comes to actual filming, sorry, I haven't even talked about filming. I typically film for my talking head videos or spots, regardless if it is for the podcast, the live stream, or for the video. I typically will do it from my desk. So my lights is all hooked up and set here and here on my desk behind me. When it comes to my camera, it's on the same tripod, the same height, the same level, same everything. The only thing that I'll change is what mic I'm going to use. Typically for the podcast, and I would say 90% of my videos, I'm using the Shure SM7B with a mic arm or boom arm connected to my Rodecaster Duo, and that's set up on my desk and doesn't move. And I will switch depending if I am demoing something with a shotgun mic. So those are two things that I kind of change in my workflow. But in my filming studio, it's typically always the same. I will change out depending on what's available at the time, because I do also do some video work outside of YouTube, is filming with my A7 IV with a 24mm lens, which I'm doing right now, or my Sony FX30 with a 16mm Sigma lens. I do have an FX3, but I typically have those more set up for my video work. For YouTube, I like to use these two cameras. I love the flexibility of FX30. And the FX30, I'll typically use with the XLR handle. So with the XLR handle, I can have everything flow right into the camera. So I have the video and I have the audio. It makes it much more simpler for editing. And I'll use that XLR cable with a Rode NTG5. So that is what I'll typically use. However, that being said, the tripod, the lights, everything is in my studio or my office, ready to record. So the simpler it is, the less friction it is, easier to set up, it's easier to record and stay consistent week after week, day after day. So a little bit of a shorter episode. I hope that you found value in this video, and look forward for any comments and maybe some things that you're doing that might even help my workflow. My workflow is simple. I typically have specific days, and using Notion helps me with that research, the scripting, filming, all organized in one spot. Again, I use Calendar to really schedule calendar blocking technique to do my filming and do my editing and do the things so it doesn't coincide with any extracurricular works or my normal 9 to 5. Final Cut Pro is what I use with all my presets and LUTs, etc. Film pretty much the same. And then release just through the schedule feature in the YouTube Studio app. So again, just some systems that I use. Again, disclaimer, what may work for me may not work for you. Hopefully you can try some of these out and make your systems consistent for your YouTube journey and your YouTube growth as a creator. So thank you so much. This is the Elev8 Project Podcast, episode number 4. If you haven't already, listen to my past episodes and hopefully get some value out of those as well. Again, my name is Ryan, and we'll catch you in the next one.